Hey everyone, welcome to a new video, welcome to my channel. My name is Maaike and today I would like to chat to you about my top 10 favorite indie eyeshadow palettes. I am someone who used to be very sort of focused on mainstream makeup brands, and then in the past year or two I definitely started trying more indie brands. And the reason why I wanted to try more indie brands is because I felt they had more interesting color stories and they were just doing things that weren't on the market anywhere else. And I really started to notice that very often an indie brand will come out with something and then mainstream brands start copying it, and that's when things become popular. So I just thought that trying more indie brands could expand my horizons when it came to makeup, and I definitely started to also get more comfortable wearing more colorful makeup, which is around, like, it all coincided around the same time. So by now I have tried quite a few things and I thought we could chat about my top 10 favorite eyeshadow palettes by indie brands up to this point. Let me just kick things off by saying, we're currently doing a heat wave over here, so very sort of like hair up, kind of like casual situation going on here. I hope you don't mind, and I think my neighbors put up a little pool or something because there are screaming children everywhere in my neighborhood at the moment, so I do apologize if you can hear anything, but I do have all my windows closed to hopefully combat that. So let's just start with the first palette here. This is the Blushing Berries by Dose of Colors, and this is definitely one of my favorite palettes that I have for the fall time. One thing that I love about ABH's Modern Renaissance is the berry shades in there, and this gives me all berries, so I love this. I love wearing this in the fall winter time with a particular like cream shadow that I have by Chanel, and I like to top it off with a Stila Glitter and Glow, like it's a whole thing. I have this whole like situation going on here. I really like this little Dose of Colors quality as well. They are quite powdery, so that is something that you just have to know. However, I do not experience fallout with this if I tap my brush off, and I just love these like little curated color stories that melt that Dose of Colors does. And the reason for that is that I just think it's genius. I'm not a matte lover by any means, but this gives me all the mattes I want in one curated color story. I pull in some other like fun shimmery shades that I have as singles, and I've got a look. It's almost foolproof. So the reason why I mentioned melt is because I was eyeing the stack of palettes that's lying next to me and I was spotting this. You're going to get sick of my talking about this palette in this month of August because I think this is featured in every single video, I'm not gonna lie. But I just love my Muerte palette so much. It seems to be discontinued by now though, so it seems to have been like a limited edition for Christmas plus a few extra months. It seems to now have been taken out of production, so that's a bit of a shame. But if you have this, then you know why I like it. It's got those greens, those teals, a perfect like navy matte and a shimmer, and then these wine shades, this bright red. I don't really like that shade. Oh well, I can make it work with everything else that we've got going on here, but this is such a lovely color story, and this palette just put Melt on the map for me. So I now own, apart from their stacks, I own a few of their other palettes, and so lovely. Melt has definitely really gotten there, like up there in terms of like favorite eyeshadow brands for me, for sure, and this is the reason. Another brand that I can't stop mentioning in this month is Nabla. I really like Nabla eyeshadow, and I really like their Soul Blooming. It was the first Nabla palette that I bought, and it's my favorite to this point. I only have this one and then the Secret palette by them, and I've got a couple of their 6 pans that I've tried by now, but still, till this day, the Soul Blooming, it's so stunning. And the reason why I love this is because it's quite light, but you get something a bit more neutral / cool toned and then a bit more warm toned over here. Some of these shades you do need to build up a little bit. Nabla can be a little bit hit and miss and inconsistent with their eyeshadow formula, I'm not gonna lie, but these periwinkles over here, I love this shimmer. You get a good array of mattes versus shimmers. And this color story is just lovely, and I also have a couple of their singles, which I also like, but I tend to prefer Nabla, their eyeshadow palettes. However, they have a tendency to make their color stories look more interesting in pictures online than what they look like when you get the finished product at home. So that was definitely the case for me when it came to the Secret palette, so fair bit of warning that try to find like natural light pictures, not studio pictures, or that the brand did as a promo, because it kind of skews what you think you might get, you could say. Then Ace Beauté Oceanic, this, the blue-green palette of my heart. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't tried every blue-green palette on the market for sure. I definitely still want to try the Menagerie Whale Song to see how it holds up against this, but in terms of like versatility and what you get for a blue-green palette, this just takes the cake. It's got really stunning quality too. Like, I also tried the Ace Beauté Slice of Paradise, and that color, like that formula is different from this. I don't know, I had some issues with that formula, but this, you get some brights, you get some darker shades, you've got the murky ones, it's just blue greens in, so stunning, great payoff, great buildability, is that a word? So this has great payoff, it builds like a dream. I can't sing the praises of this palette enough, it's just that stunning. And then we have the Certify Tropical Wonders palette. Am I saying that correctly? Yes. I've got another like tropical plus another word palette in the stack today. So I'm always like, what is it called again? But this is the Tropical Wonders by Certify. And I keep mentioning this as being my favorite rainbow palette that is matte. This has some neutrals at the top. You get a green, you get a black and a gray. You also get greens, you get blues. You get the full spectrum of the rainbow in here. And it's just really lovely quality too. Like, if I had to pick a matte rainbow palette, it would probably be this or the September Rose Slush too, but I'm not gonna lie, I put another September Rose palette in this video today. This has just everything, and I'm not a big fan of all matte palettes, but this, because you get like different variations of shades, I feel you can make full looks with this without needing a shimmer per se. It's still not my favorite thing to do. I definitely like a good bit of shimmer, so I wish that Certify would come out with this palette, but then make a sister palette with all shimmer. That is like my dream. That a brand comes out with an all shimmer colorful eyeshadow palette. Can we do it? I would love that. An all shimmer rainbow. It's not on the market yet as far as I know. Please, someone make it. Preferably in good quality. Menagerie, I already mentioned them, that I wanted to try their Whale Song palette. I'm gonna have to make do with my Feral and Dragon Heart palette. What's it called again? Dragon Child, that's it. It was discontinued though. It was from back in the day when they were still called Makeup Monsters. I bought that right before it was discontinued, so I'm very happy that I have it, but this is one you can still get. So I'm showing you this one. It's also my favorite of the two because this has a bit of a wacky color story, but that's still very wearable and easy to use once you figure out how to put these shades together. It requires a bit of work. These Menagerie palettes are super heavy, so if you don't live in the US and Canada, these can be very expensive to ship over, so I definitely would recommend like buying one or two at the same time. Yes, it becomes a little bit more expensive, but overall, it's more expensive to buy them all as singles, but currently Menagerie is not shipping to Europe to begin with, so you can't even get this yet, only if you're in the US and Canada, because due to the whole COVID situation and all the shipping delays, they are currently not shipping abroad, which is a bit of a shame, even though Canada is abroad. Oh well. But yeah, this is just a really interesting color story, really lovely quality shadows. Menagerie does put very many mattes in their palettes, which is my only sort of gripe with them. I would like to see them do more shimmers because they do stunning shimmers. Really lovely. And then an indie brand and a palette by this brand that I never really hear a lot of people talking about, and it's the Lime Crime Venus XL #2. And I bought this because I saw it in store and I was like, oh wait, that's a color story that I might like. Because if you see this packaging, you're like, oh, I want those bright greens and those bright peachy shades, and then you get this. Which a lot of people thought was a bit of a scam when this was released, I think. However, I really like mine, and I bought this because I also tried the Venus XL, like the first one, which has the berries, and that's now like the berry palette of my dreams for sure. But I picked this over the Venus XL because this is neutrals with a twist. This is like an updated version of like Urban Decay's Naked 3 for me. And that's a bold statement because Urban Decay Naked 3 is one of my top 3 favorite eyeshadow palettes of all time. But this has the rosy, like, sort of plummy shades. You get a little bit of warmth in here, but not too much. You get a really interesting, like, duochrome kind of shade. It has a bit of depth and dimension. And then you also get these lovely greeny shades, something that's a little bit more taupey and golden. Like, for my fair skin, cool to neutral undertone, if that's you, like me, you will love this if you like neutral palettes with a twist. That's one of my favorite things, and this is definitely a palette that ticks that box. I have not seen anyone really doing an eyeshadow palette like this yet. This sage shade. I know a lot of people were saying it doesn't show up, it's ashy. Yes, if you have a very deep skin tone, it's not going to show up on you. But on me it does. On me it does. So that's why this, it's so, so stunning. I already mentioned September Rose Slush 2 as being a really good other matte rainbow palette, but I would like to mention the Slush 1 in here. And the reason for that is for 2 reasons. Because I wanted to put a matte rainbow in here, because indie brands just do matte rainbows really well. And then I think the Certifeye Tropical Wonders, yeah, I think it's still my favorite. But what September Rose does that nobody else does is sort of like pastel-y neon brights in a rainbow spectrum with shimmer. So this kind of like ticks all the boxes, and where the Certify has more like the primary colors of the rainbow, I would say, this just gives you, well, not necessarily murky, but more muted shades almost. And then these super bright pops like these two over here, this cornflower blue, so pretty. This entire row of purples is stunning. It's got 1 or 2 shades that are a bit, and some of these oranges, I have to say, are perhaps a little samey, but this is the eyeshadow palette I'm wearing in my little thumbnail like thing here on YouTube on my channel. Like the little eye look that I did was using this palette. So, love it. It's one of the best eye looks I ever came up with. And it was done using this palette, so it needs a mention. It just does. The palette I keep confusing the Tropical Wonders with by Certifeye is the OPV Beauty Tropical Dreams eyeshadow palette. See, I can read. And this is another sort of like blue-green palette, but a little bit of a different take. This has a little bit of warmth in here with these like oranges and golds that it has. Then it has these stunning teals, just absolutely gorgeous teals. And the quality of this, when I put it on my eyes, oh my word, this blew me away. It was so lovely, so well done. The only thing I don't like about this palette is the scent, or the fact that it just, well, I don't like scented makeup. I've said that a lot, but this smells bad. Like, unpleasant. Like glue and cheap makeup. So that's just, don't put it too near your face. But once you put these shadows on your eyes, I mean, whoo, these are pigmented though. A light hand, a little goes a long way. But this, I just love this, and I don't hear a lot of people talking about this brand at all. And I'm like, you guys, if you haven't tried OPV Beauty's Tropical Dreams, like, where have you been? Because if you fell asleep on this one, I'm not sure if they still do it. I bought it in the Black Friday sales last year, off of their official website, and it was just fine. Really lovely quality. Love this one. And last but not least, I'm not even sure if we can still call this palette indie or this brand indie, because they're everywhere it seems. However, you can still, I think the best way to get this brand is via their official website. It would be Juvia's Place. This is, of course, I think, a brand that a lot of people, like, if you know a little bit about eyeshadow, then you will have heard of Juvia's Place. This is the Magic palette. Not only does Juvia's Place have very consistent, really good eyeshadow quality, especially their shimmers, this eyeshadow palette in particular is still, till this day, one of my favorites. It has 2 rows of warm tones, 2 rows of cool tones, and this is such a lovely eyeshadow palette. I love these 2 shades. I love these 2 shades. I love everything that's going on here, except for the yellow tone gold. I don't really care for yellow tone golds. And they seem to put, like Pat McGrath does that in every single palette. There's this like yellow tone gold. I'm like, Pat, please give me something differently. But yeah, Juvia's Place also has quite a few yellow tone golds in a lot of their palettes, I have to say. I think it's a shade that works for a lot of people. It's just if you have a very fair skin tone, cooler undertone, these kind of shades don't really, they're usually, they can make me look a little sickly. Where a lot of people will say that pinks make them look sickly, I feel that golds can make me look sickly. Just saying. But yeah, this is lovely quality, really great color story. You can just skip around, you can blend these together, like, oh, it's so lovely. Till this day, still one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes for sure. So there you have it. Those are my top 10 favorite eyeshadow palettes by indie brands. Let me know in a comment down below what your favorites are. I would love to know. Please give the video a thumbs up if you would like to help me out getting the word out there. I'm still doing many more of these eyeshadow palette related videos in the month of August. So I hope you would like to stay tuned, or maybe go back to some of the other palette videos that I already did this month, because I definitely have a couple of things already up by now as well. We're gonna finish things off with an eyeshadow palette collection video, so lots more coming your way. Stay tuned, please, if you'd like to. See you in my next video. Bye-bye.